you know, if there's one person that could get me to turn against my family and everyone else I love, it might just be Charlize Theron. So Fate of the Furious is the 8th installment in the Fast and Furious franchise, and this one's directed by F. Gary Gray, and you got Vin Diesel and The Rock, and all those guys are back together again. The family is back together, and they're on another mission to take down Charlize Theron's character, and I had an absolute ball watching this movie. This movie was a lot of fun. I was never a huge Fast and Furious fan. I hated the first 3. Didn't mind 4. I really like 6 and 7, and I also like 5 as well. And I've only seen them like recently. I didn't sort of watch them as they came out, and so I was never a big fan. I was never really into it that much. 7 had that surprising emotional hook because of what happened with Paul Walker, and this one surprisingly has those emotional hooks. I was kind of surprised by that. I was like, watching the trailers, I was like, oh, it's all about family, and it's just going to get annoying because they keep saying it, and it's cheesy and whatever. But it works in this movie, and you feel like, when Dom Toretto turns against his team, you're like, oh, that hurts. Mainly because we've seen them go through all this stuff together through 7, now 8 movies. You feel it. I think my favorite element in this movie is the relationship between Jason Statham and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, because I love that dynamic of two guys that don't want to work together, that hate each other, and then they're forced to work together. And it's the funniest thing about this movie. It really is. It's a funny dynamic. They have some great back and forth dialogue, and it's just balls to the wall. This movie knows what it is. It's self-aware. All these Fast and Furious movies, they don't take themselves seriously, and that's really good. It'd be really annoying if they tried to make it a serious drama and you had all this crazy shit happening. Now, watching the trailers for this movie, I was really worried about how they were going to handle this Dominic Toretto turning against his family kind of thing, because from the trailers, there's one trailer in particular where it looks like, Charlize Theron's sort of hypnotizing him, and I'm like, God, I hope that doesn't happen, because that's just too, like, for me, that'd be like, that's just too ridiculous. Like, he gets hypnotized, really? Like, but thankfully, and I don't consider this a spoiler, that's not the case. But from that trailer that I saw, it looked like it was, and I was really worried. And thankfully that didn't happen, so that's all good. They did find a really good emotional reason for him to turn against the crew. And I thought it was a really smart plot device to use, and it worked really well. There's a couple of really big there's a couple of great surprises in this movie, from, certain people popping up to certain things happening in the movie that I really, really enjoyed and I got a kick out of seeing. Now let's talk about the cars and the explosions and just the crazy shit that happens in this movie. So the movie starts off, and I like that this movie went back to the street racing kind of roots of what this franchise started out to be. This franchise initially was the first one was like a Point Break remake with cars, right? So, at the beginning of this movie, they go back to the street racing thing, and that was really fun to see. I really enjoyed that. My problem comes with this movie where it's like, okay, I get that The Rock is huge, and this movie is self-aware, and it doesn't take itself seriously, and I don't take this movie seriously at all. But there are points where you're like watching it, you're going, yeah, that should have killed them. I don't care if his name is Vin Diesel. I don't care if he is The Rock. I don't care if that is Jason Statham. They should die. They should have been dead by now. That explosion, that no one could possibly survive that. I don't care how much of a beefcake you are. And also, I just never get tired of seeing The Rock in movies. Like, The Rock is just The Rock, and he just kicks ass, and I just had a blast watching him kick ass for 2.5 hours. I feel like this is one of my favorite installments in this franchise, and it's actually a really good, fun time at the movies. I can't really complain about it. I can't really nitpick it, because the movie's self-aware. It knows what it is. There's not too many points in this movie where I was like, oh God, why are they doing that? Why did he say that cheesy line? Because it all works. It's self-aware. It knows what it is. I had a great time with Fate of the Furious. Let me know what you think of Fate of the Furious. If you've seen it, comment below, let me know. And I just did a Jeremy Johns, and I didn't really intend to. Anyway, remember to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys for another review next time.